Next thing is about to be about Chopper City. He's been doing a lot of interviews with the Art of Dialogue, and yeah, he's been talking pretty crazy about Diddy. And it seems like people are responding to him real well. I'm gonna show you some of my favorite, maybe favorite parts of it. But he was talking about how I know on the last pod we talked about how Sarah came out talking about how she was touched by Diddy inappropriately. According to Chopper, she was doing a lot more than being touched inappropriately. Let's go ahead and have a look, see at what Chopper said about what was going on. Chopper recalls being shocked after walking in on Freddie P. Freddie P is a member from the band, by the way, and Sarah. He said, "My view on married women changed." Now, I think we could kind of maybe react. We gotta have time to react to this because he kind of moving through the subjects pretty fast. So let's really just dig into to this Chopper. And
And I don't know if this is true. This is something I heard behind the scenes. So, but I heard Sarah she was messing around with Freddie P.
Yeah, she did. Fred definitely knocked it down for sure. But that's how it all started though. You heard me? That's how it all started, bro. It started with Fred knocking it down. That's when I looked at Sarah like a totally different type of woman. Cause in my mind growing up, you heard me? I thought like the married people were like 100 forever together, you dig? And Sarah low key, high key, triple key changed my perception of how I see women.
it's kind of crazy to say. Like she literally changed his perception of how he see women. Like he saw women one way with respect, and thought all women were loyal, and now he's like on his Chris Brown shit. Like these hoes ain't loyal because you see how they get down. That's crazy. Let's have a look at it.
You dig? And I hate to say that, yeah, but changed my whole perception, because I remember Fred, you dig, and Fred, don't judge me, baby. You know I love you, but Chop gonna keep it real. And that was a wild life we had at that moment. So keeping it real and telling the history of our life, our journey is dope to me. So I'm going to say it. Fred was like, Chop. He's like, sit it. I fucked Sarah. I said, no, you didn't, bitch. He said, yes, I did. Nigga. I said, no, you didn't. He was like, I did. I fucked Sarah.
No, you didn't, bitch. No, you didn't. You gotta love the energy he's putting behind it. It's funny. It's just some funny stuff happening here, so it's good.
Said, how much you want to bet you ain't fucked Sarah? He said, I'll bet my show money. And that's how me and Fred used to get down. Our bets used to be the show money with each other. So he was like, let's bet the show money. So I was like, all right, cool. So the next city we went to, you heard me, um, the deal was this here. Fred was going to lead a latch. He lead a latch so it could be compatible with the door so I can be able to walk in. And if I walk in and see it, I lost the bet. And basically that's exactly what happened. We went to another city. We was actually in New York City. And we was standing in a hotel. And Fred texted me, and back in the G, it used to be sidekicks. Remember sidekicks?
Yeah, I remember them. Yeah.
Yeah. Fred hit me on yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, now y'all know about them sourdough, y'all know about them sidekicks. So man, back in my day, we used to have like the fire's phones, man. Like they wasn't these little black bricks and shit that y'all got these days. Like we used to have like some shit. See if I can pull one up for you guys. Like you gotta see this shit. If you ain't never seen one before, you gotta see it right now, man. This is the flyest shit ever. I used to love having well I never actually owned one myself, but I used to love looking at people have one, I always wanted one. I might even it's so cool I would rock one in 2025, yeah. Like you see, can't find a good image of it. Oh man, we got all types of images over here. Yeah, let me get this up on the screen for y'all. Y'all gotta see this. So yeah, all these different images, yo. Look at this. Clean right there, man. Look at that trackball. That trackball used to light up when you get a call. This was really like the first smartphone, to be honest. Because, it had its own little interface and shit for sending messages. It looked real premium. You got that keyboard right there. it starts off flipping up. Like this will flip down that way and cover up the keyboard, and then you just flip it, and it opens up. You see, I got that close thing right there. That's because you're supposed to close it back up over the keyboard. So this was really cool. This was the I think this was the first one. So yeah, like that's what it looked like. Yeah, this is a real good picture of it. So I don't know, man. Like I really enjoyed this time because I had what type of phone I had? I had a Nokia flip. I used to be real good on the Nokias. I had so many of their phone. I had this phone before. I had what phone I had? I had that same phone. I had a Motorola Razor. I think they done remade those. Yeah, it looks like they did. But yeah, phones used to be cool. Like, look at that. They call that the Motorola Razor. Back in the day, used to have just hang up phone. Your phone was lucky to have a camera back then. So yeah, just to Chopper get excited about that was wild, you know. But we'll go ahead and get back to what he was saying, though. Yeah.
And that was the you hear me? But Fred hit me on the sidekick and was like, Nick, I'm in the room. Come on. I left the latch open for you. So I'm excited.
It's a wild thing to tell somebody in a text, like, yo, like, I left the latch open. I'm convinced her to get it in, and now we about to get it in, and then you can walk in on it and see it for yourself. Like, that's some weird shit. But you gotta remember, like, Chopper, I don't know if you guys know this, but Chopper City, he was using a fake ID when he was part of the band, and he was actually 15 years old. So you gotta imagine a little 15, 16-year-old boy just like, yeah, I wanna see it. I wanna see it. You know, he's trying to see it. Who wouldn't be trying to see it? You know what I mean?
I ain't gonna count with you, brother. I'm excited. You did, because I always wanted to see Sarah naked. I'm sorry, I did. So I'm coming over there. I'm creeping, you dig? I'm creeping and excited. I can't wait. I open the door. I come creeping through the door. I turn right. You dig? I pass the bathroom. You heard me? I go right. Sarah tearing this nigga up, son. I'm talking about fucking the shit out of Fred. And Fred, she riding Fred, and Fred looking at me, and he's sucking his dumbest shit. I was joked out, son. You heard me? And then Sarah, I made a mistake and walked backwards.
And that's how you know he's telling the truth. Because I've seen an interview where Fred was talking about how he suck his thumb and he be having to be extra gangster because he don't need people thinking he's sweet or not gangster. So yeah, it's one of those things, man, to where like Sarah's really that thought box.
Was you dig? And when I walked backwards, it was probably some M&Ms, you heard me, or some Skittles, you dig? And I
Oh,
made a
you got to
mistake
hear
and
this
stepped on
part.
some M&Ms, you heard me? And then Sarah, I made a mistake and walked backwards, you dig? And when I walked
You got to
backwards,
hear
it
this
was
part.
probably some shit out of Fred. And Fred, she riding Fred, and Fred looking at me, and he's sucking his dumbest shit. I was joked out, son, you heard me? And then Sarah, I made a mistake and walked backwards, you dig? And when I walked backwards, it was probably some M&Ms, you heard me, or some Skittles, you dig? And I made a mistake and stepped on it. And Sarah looked back and jumped off Fred. Was like, oh my God, and crying by the wall and I'm like, Sarah, say, bro, it's all gravy. I don't care. I was like, I already know. She said, you already knew? I said, yes. Fred said he already done it before. Fred, you running your mouth and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, Fred used to knock Sarah ass down for sure. Yeah, Fred used to the shot of Sarah. No doubt about it. Tell her ass up. Fred loves Sarah, dog. He used to love Sarah. Facts.
Why they didn't make it official?
Because Sarah was married. How you gonna make something official and you got a family to go home to? You did? And her husband would have gone and tried to kill her. He would have found that out. But we kept that a secret a long time around there. We did. As long as we could. You heard me? But everybody know Fred was knocking it down. Believe that. Facts. But Fred, what really happened though, Fred started feeling the way, when Diddy started knocking it down, Fred was just Fred.
The thought box, man. Like first person that had it was Fred, man. And she decided to go for the big boss. So I don't know, man. It's a thought box.
Fred wasn't feeling that shit. He gonna say he don't remember when did it knocking it down and started feeling away, but he was knocking it down, and Fred started feeling away. So that was enough. That was the end of the Fred and Sarah era, you know, when Diddy started just fucking her. Facts.
So when Sarah and Freddie P was messing around,
Not. Um, I think, in my opinion, I think her husband knew. No, no,
P was messing around. I remember on Making a Band, her husband, he used to come on the show. Was they messing around at that time too?
no, no, absolutely not. Um, I think, in my opinion, I think her husband knew what was down with Sarah as a person. So I think that he was trying to protect her. You dig? Protect her from embarrassing herself. And that's just my opinion. You dig? He was trying to protect her from embarrassing herself.
So Sarah's out there wilding. He said, Chopper said basically the husband already knew how she got down. Already knew this. It wasn't news to the husband. The husband was just out there trying to make sure things ain't go too crazy. And I don't know if y'all remember the episode with the husband on there and Making a Band, but that was a wild episode. He was all over them, just like, yo, why y'all doing this? Why? It was clearly played up, but I was still just like, why is he up there? Anyway,
Which eventually ended up happening anyway, because the more that he wasn't around is the more she started doing her. Because I'm starting to feel like, nah, she was probably trying to run from him. You dig? So when he wasn't able to be in control on Making a Band like how he's normally in control, obviously in her life, you know, she was running like a free slave, and she was cutting the fuck up because obviously she must hated her life back then. But in my opinion, I think, just my opinion, and I don't do no capping, you dig? I think that her husband at that time, he done everything right for her, you know, laced her up. He took care of her. You know, Sarah didn't come into the band struggling, you know. She came into the band with money. Sarah already had buku money. And, you know, they whole little wiggle, they had money. So Sarah ain't have a worry in the world. And I think that he was just trying to protect her from embarrassing herself, which she ended up doing anyway. So yeah, that's what happened. The more they got Sarah husband away from him was the most Sarah was able to kind of thought out a little bit. You hear me? Facts though. That's just my opinion. Say, bro, after I seen Sarah do all that there, I couldn't look at women the same way. And that sucks. But it just made me look like, damn, even the married women be out here cutting up. And that maybe it did traumatize me. Mind you, I was a young.
you needed that traumatization because women do be out here fucking up, man. You gotta be a certain type of dude to hold a woman down. You know what I mean? Like, otherwise they're gonna be just running amok on you, and it's intolerable. So at the end of the day, you know, and that sounded kind of sexist. I'm sorry, but you know, running amok. I mean, like just doing what they want. You know, and that's what Sarah was doing. Sarah was doing what she wants. She was married. Mind you, had kids at home, and you out here being a little thought pocket. So that's a and then I had nerve to be trying to say um did he touched her inappropriately when you know you was trying to get piped down by Diddy. So I don't know. You guys for yourself, check it out for yourself. These chopper art of dialogue shits. Also, the Freddie P interviews are actually pretty good. Like I would suggest checking those out. The chopper shits are good for a good laugh. Like chopper really be just having me cracking the fuck up. Like I don't know what would make him say half the shit he be saying, but that shit's fucking hilarious. It's just the best. So you guys need to check all that out.